Meanwhile, a professor of journalism and communication studies at the University of Lagos, Professor Ismail Adegboyega Ibraheem, has identified inadequate funding as a major challenge in the Nigerian media industry, where many organizations struggle to pay staff salaries and cover operational costs. Delivering his inaugural lecture on Wednesday titled Casino Journalism and the End of History, Professor Ibraheem noted that insufficient funding, lack of professionalism, and survival-driven practices amid the current economic downturn have altered the landscape of journalism in Nigeria. He called on the government to support the media sector to ensure its survival. Professor Ibraheem argued that it is difficult for media practitioners to adhere to professional standards without adequate revenue from advertisement and government patronage. He suggested a tax reform where search engines are taxed with the proceeds directed to support Nigerian media organizations. In her remarks, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Folasade Ogunsola, urged the media to adopt the recommendations and revitalize journalism practice. She emphasized that truth and fairness are the core principles of the profession and must always be upheld.
Without adverts, most media organizations cannot survive, and that actually led to the demise of Next newspaper. So that is why I think media organizations, to be able to perform professionally with integrity, they need to devise sustainable financial models to keep the organizations afloat. And one of the things that I suggested, I prescribed in my lecture, is a sort of tax that the government can levy on big tech companies such as Google, such as Meta. They get a lot of adverts from Nigeria, and then if the government can come up with a kind of tax, and such revenue from that tax should be used to support independent media in Nigeria. And this is actually gaining traction. In Australia, they just introduced this sort of tax because most of these days, a lot of people are actually migrating from mainstream media to some of these online media platforms that are enabled by these big tech companies.
His call for a transformation in the media system no doubt is a clarion call for ethical reporting, factual analysis, and historical accuracy, values that are foundational to a resilient democratic society. Professor Ibraheem, whose current research focuses on the evolving role of media and civil society in shaping societies, influencing policy, and safeguarding democracy, showed how his research works extend beyond the academic lecture hall. For instance, his pioneering research into press freedom through initiatives like the Vibrant Openness Index for Communication and Expression offers a beacon of hope for strengthening democratic accountability.